What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the All Things Basketball podcast. I'm your host, Vic Lopez, as always. And the first game, obviously his debut, it goes pretty much as well as it could have gone for a first game, for a guard with all the usage that he had in that first game. And that says a lot to me because when I'm watching a lot of these other guards in their debuts and even a couple games after they're playing, they still look a little uncomfortable. And obviously, I don't put a ton of stock in Summer League as it is, so I'm not going to overreact either way to any of these people. But watching the guards with the usage that are running the offense and everything is running through them, every time a rebound is collected and they're looking for Okorie and giving it to him, or any of these other guards in Summer League, that says to me, all right, this is going to be a big sample size for a player. And we got a huge sample size for Ebuka Okorie. We also got a huge sample of him on defense, which is something that I was also impressed with. Now, I didn't see anything incredible and amazing and oh my God, this is some elite level defense, but I did see him getting after it, shuffling his feet really well, navigating around the screens when he's guarding in those pick and roll scenarios, whether he's fighting over and thinning out and trying to stay in front of that ball handler. I really saw him embracing the contact on defense, really putting pressure on the ball and also showing the instincts on the defensive end. I've got some notes here, just a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. I am going to do the highlight breakdown of that game as well at the end of it on the defensive end, with the instincts. There's a play where, and I always say Johnny Broom, but I think it's Janai Broom, so forgive me if I get that name wrong. He's been around for a little bit, but there's this moment where he's trying to catch up on a high post up. He's trying to catch a pass, and Ebuka Okorie abandons the corner because he sees an opportunity to kind of sneak into an intercepted pass and try to poke it away, and he successfully does it, which we're going to see later on in the video. But it's those are the instincts that we also saw again. I think it was either earlier in that game or after that play where they're throwing a throw-ahead pass to LeBaron Philon, who the dude was just out there trying to get buckets. He looked really impressive, by the way. But they're throwing this outlet pass to him to get out in transition, and Ebuka Okorie kind of stops in his tracks, turns around, and then basically intercepts that pass for another steal, which then turns into this nice little set of dribble moves, stops on two, step through, finish through the contact with a nice layup. And it's just putting all of those things together were really what impressed me about him. The change of pace that I broke down in that highlight video from his college tape is absolutely there. He's bringing it up the floor and he's kind of speeding up and then slowing down and then changing direction. And his use of setting up the defender that's guarding him while he's got the ball in his hands, setting him up into that screener was pretty consistent throughout this game, where he's acting like he's gonna reject the screen and then he turns back into it and hits the defender into the screener. He breaks free. We saw the pull-up shooting out of those plays. We saw him pretty much get to the cup at will. That was really impressive from Ebuka Okorie. That's his one strongest skill right now, is getting downhill and getting to the basket, and his ability to finish around the rim was visible over and over again in this game, regardless of the contact or the angles that he had to take. And I also really like that on his way to the basket, the deceleration is there. Even when he's in midair, he somewhat it looks like he's slow. He changes the speed in midair, which is another cool thing. He'll bait the first attempt and then he'll bring it back under and finish around the rim. And it's him baiting those extra defenders coming over and help in all that traffic. And like I said, navigating screens when he's defending in the pick and roll. I thought that was really impressive from him. We saw him splitting some pick and rolls, which was really nice, which is something that we know he also had. And then to the pull-up shooting part, after he sets up these defenders into the screener and then he's snaking his way into a pull-up three. He made a couple of those threes. This guy had 20 points on 8 of 16 from the field. He was 2 for 5 from 3. He had 4 assists, which, by the way, could have been 6 or 7 easily. I'll talk about that in a second, but 2 steals, 1 turnover. I will continue to monitor his ability to keep that assist to turnover ratio down, because if you're going to be someone that's going to have all this usage in Summer League with the ball in your hands and making decisions and running offense and trying to get your own baskets as well and get other people involved, which I think he's done a really good job of so far, and not looking like this like ball hoggy player. Like, I don't want to turn this into like a Acuff and Okorie kind of situation because it's just Summer League and I don't want to pin two players against each other. But like, I'm looking at Acuff and it's this guy that like shot chucking at will. The shot profile has looked insane. It's a lot of step backs. It's a lot of contested shots in traffic. He kind of leaves off the wrong foot to obviously catch the defenders off guard and then try to finish. And a lot of those are misses. And he has shown some great flashes. It's just Summer League. He's got to get accustomed to it. He's a little bit of a different physical specimen that from Okorie. But those are the things that I like about Okorie, where it's like he has just as much of a green light from what it looks like as Darius Acuff, and he's kind of handling it with a little more maturity in terms of like a leadership at that position with the ball in his hands. Like, yeah, I can put up 20 plus shots and things like that, but I'm gonna get the ones I like. Like, I'm gonna get more to the basket, and if I don't really like this look, I'm just gonna pass it off, and it looks a little more natural for me when I'm watching Okorie kind of start these offensive possessions versus Acuff. It kind of looks like even when he's like pitching it and taking a back screen and then coming back, and he'll even set a pin down and then he'll fly back out to catch a pass. It just looks really obvious that the Kings are doing everything possible to get him the ball. And it feels more to me like with Okorie, there's a little more of a natural offensive flowy vibe to his game right now. And feel free to tell me if you disagree, but that's just kind of how I felt watching these two guys so far. And to the kind of like the running the show part with the assist to turnover ratio, like, and obviously only having those 4 assists, which some of those passes were nice. There's a lot of passes that just like, unfortunately, they end up in the hands of some players that aren't as offensively skilled. In this case, I kind of want to shout out a player by his side that I'm really keeping my eyes on, because I'm aware that he is very limited in terms of offense in Ugonna Onyenso, right? He was actually a guy that I was thinking of doing a breakdown video pre-draft, but it wasn't like a ton of tape that I had to work with, at least not the stuff that I could find. He's this incredibly elite shot blocker, which the Pistons are going to need as well. Like a lot of like more front court, like interior protection, right? Rim protection and athleticism. But you could tell when the ball finds him, he really doesn't have a good touch around the basket. He doesn't have an offensive move. If it's not a putback or if it's not a dunk, it really is kind of a wasted possession with the ball in his hand. And, he's just not polished in terms of offense. So, like, where he helps you defensively, like when he's your pick and roll teammate, that limits your pick and roll scoring potential, right? Like those good passes that Okorie's making, they just get thrown back out, or maybe a turnover or like a bad decision or something that doesn't lead to that assist count for Okorie and these other players. So like, it is impressive to see him work with the limited, teammates that are around him, and him still look pretty comfortable and get to where he wants. And the defense, knowing that he's not this like elite shooter from outside, they know that he likes to get in there, and the fact that he's still getting in there is incredibly impressive to me. So far, so good. And I'm happy with the first Okorie game. Now, let's move over to the breakdown of this video. Let's go back a little bit. All right. So this is where like start, go, right? Stopping on a dime, right? Like kind of changing the pace. I love that about this dude. Like he can beat you off the dribble whenever he wants. The acceleration is insane. And then he just slows down again, and he kind of does this dance with the defender. And then there's the explosion again. And there's the rise up and finish. Awesome. And he never looks like overly excited about what he's doing. He's just like next play mentality. I love that about this guy. All right, now here's that play that I was talking about with him like playing really well in those pick and rolls and setting up the defender really well into the screen. Really nice right there. Let's so pull up 3, right? Snakes his way into a pull up 3, but like let's do the slow motion real quick, because this is like the stuff that I really love to see. I think 0.60 should be fine. 0.6. So we're gonna see him like, let's go back a little, just like subtly kind of stutter to the right, even give a little head fake to his right, act like he might reject the screen. That kind of freezes up the defender for a split second, and then it's an attack into the screen. And now he snakes his way into the lane. The defender is completely out of the play. Janai Broom is going to have to kind of figure out what's about to happen next. And it just eats into that extra space to his right, and it's just a nice little silky smooth pull-up three, nothing but net. This is the stuff that we like to see off the ball too. It's a little more realistic for what we're probably going to see his rookie season. And it's just, you know, coming off these off-ball screens, right? Pump fake. They already saw a three go in, so they're thinking, all right, that thing might go in. Pump fake, relocate into another little step back three. Nothing but net again. Just unfazed, complete focus in his eyes, right? There's that instinctual steal that I was talking about earlier. So let's watch that one more time. So Okorie is guarding his man in the corner, and he sees that there's about to be this high post-up kind of entry pass to Janai Broom. And it's just the immediate decision to say, you know what? This is good timing. I'm going to get there as soon as possible. And it paid off. He's got that long wingspan, so like that's going to help him a lot when he takes those gambles. Here's that second, like, kind of instinctual play on defense from him. So here's Okorie ahead already of Phylon. They're going to throw that little, like, go-ahead pass to start the break. And as he's running ahead, he changes his mind, and then he runs back in because he just sees an opportunity to get a steal. And the play doesn't end there. Like, he has a teammate to his left. The guy in the paint is kind of seeing, you know, where the next play is going. And Okorie can just take his man one-on-one. Little set of combo dribbles. There's the stop on two. Nice little kind of change of direction here. The step through, the finish through contact. And that's where he shows a little emotion on the defender. Nice set of moves. I just love how physical he is. Yeah, just good contact absorption, all that good stuff. All right, Janai Broom, little loose handle there. Trying to draw a foul. All right, Ebuka in transition. Really like that about him. Like, he makes these smart, low-key plays too in transition. Like he could just race his man down the floor and probably beat him down there. But I like that he just cuts him off instead. Like, he gains an additional advantage here. Because getting in front of him, right, it forces him to basically get out of the way or slow down, or that's going to be a foul. So, free little finish there for him. Really smart of him to cut him off in transition. Here we go again. A nice little high pick and roll. Split the pick and roll, which we saw a ton of on those highlights. And then just nice little right-handed layup just with just grace that he moves with. The dude's got some serious skill, man. Here's the pass. Catch it into an off-ball screen. They ghost out of it. And he just kind of, you know, let's see. So ghost out, right? Kind of keep that on-ball defender guessing. Janai Broom's got like a kind of a second or half a second to figure out if that's a real screen or not. And then right on that opening, that's when he attacks. Sweet touch, man. And he just carves through space, like change of pace, like I was talking about. You know, he's coming up slow, then he speeds up, and then he slows down again, brings it back out, and then attacks again once the defender resets his positioning. And it's just free finishes there for him. Ebuka Okorie, man, the dude was awesome in his debut. I am really excited for this guy's future with the Detroit Pistons. We're talking about now a guy that can get to the paint whenever he wants and pretty much showing the ability to knock down the outside shot, showing the ability that you can trust him with the ball in his hands, right, to bring the ball up and show all that usage so far in Summer League. Obviously, that's going to be dialed back way more in the regular season. So we're talking about less possessions, right, where he's got to make more of a contribution with less. That's a whole nother level of skill that it takes in the NBA for sure. But I feel like with his maturity level, with his skill set already, and playing with better teammates around him and better athletes, like we're talking about, obviously assuming Jalen Duren's going to be there, which I fully expect him to. I don't think the Pistons are going to lose that guy at all, especially for nothing. And it's like you have that lob threat that you can now throw it to. He ain't no Ugana Onyenso. All due respect to him. This is a whole other caliber of a center. All right? Say what you want about what he did in the playoffs. That is a real lob threat and a real screen-setting, strong, grown-ass man that he's going to be playing alongside in certain scenarios. Flying off screens where there's 2 on Cade Cunningham or 3 people on Cade Cunningham when he gets a paint touch. Because let me tell you, Cade Cunningham pick and roll with Jalen Duren is one of the best actions in the NBA. We know that. Statistically, one of the most efficient actions in the league. And all of a sudden, you've got him playing off of that. It could get scary real quick. So, thanks for watching this video. I will catch you guys on the next one.